have this view of what a winemaker does, and he's out in the vineyard and he's tasting his barrels and he's looking at that, and I may not taste barrels for a week or two because I'm too worried about when the next shipment of barrels is coming, and is my glass coming on time, and do I have a bottling truck on time, and the labor for harvest, or any number of other things. So we are running a 5-ring circus driven by many factors beyond our control.
One of the other winemakers who lives not far from us said, before he calls this the cap and gown, the cap and the top being the gown. Yeah. He's made 1,000 decisions that affect that bottle of wine. I don't know if the number's right, but it's the idea how complicated it really is.
I started working with Ron. His property is really a small vineyard, like a southwest-facing solar panel on Howell Mountain, classic Howell Mountain red volcanic soils, sitting on top of a rock cap, so in a few places there's only 18 inches of topsoil. It really is a site that does a very specific thing every year. Yes, there are some variations in the wine, but you always know that it is from there. It has a voice and it sings. It's late spring, about a month after bud break, and so we're getting into this grand period of growth. That shoot was half that size 2 days ago. The flowers still have yet to set to turn into berries.
We're sitting at this time of year. You've got 6 months of decisions to make, and then it's 2 years in your barrel.
Absolutely.
With more decisions to make, and another year in the bottle with more decisions to make.
Exactly. Every choice you make has a cascade of effects.
That affect you 3 years later or 4 years later, because you're affecting buds the following year in the vineyard.
And we're one of the few industries that actually take the raw product of planting it in the soil, nurturing it up for 3 or 4 years to become a vineyard. Then we get a season, a year of Mother Nature to coax this vintage to the very best that we can. And then we bottle this creation that we've been working on for 5 years, and then we have to try to sell it to start the cycle all over again.
And so the relationship of the person who hopefully is opening up that bottle is really wired back to us.
It is that direct connection back to a place and a time and to people who are involved in it. We're about to come through and remove extra shoots from the vineyard, selecting which shoots we're going to leave. So we see in this little short shoot here that there are 2 clusters that will potentially become berries down the road. During that period of flowering, if we have really bad weather, those flowers will fail to turn into grapes. If we had a frost, that could destroy the whole vineyard.
I admit to being totally neurotic during flowering 2 weeks. For me, the best part of this whole project has been understanding the role of Mother Nature.
Absolutely.
And she's the boss, and she wins, and you have to take hold of that and interpret it for us.
You can't control it.
No.
So once again, we're subject to the whims of Mother Nature. And as a friend of mine said, sometimes nature is just a mother.
End quote.
End quote, yeah.
This is a first look at a 13 estate Cabernet from up here on Howell Mountain, which was a very fun vintage.
Howl at the Moon, Howell Mountain, the Knoll Vineyard, Napa Valley, Cabernet Sauvignon 2013.
There's a lot of the new wood character, so great sort of spice components, red fruit, cassis, some really nice blackberry bramble characters underneath.
Beautiful tannins, rich structure. In the nose, it's beautiful tobacco leaf, cassis.
Howell Mountain's kind of famous for the type of tannin, that inky color. There's also this like hot rock notion.
You can really sit down and you can smell a glass, and there's this Rutherford dust concept. I feel the same, in Howell Mountain, that there's this different type of dust that's up there I call it moon dust, and it's really, really quite interesting.
When you're working on Howell Mountain, there's like this stony minerality that comes through. It's really complementary to big reds. And it appears in my Zinfandel, it appears here in this Cabernet.